Hello guys, this is Red from Red's Third Dimension Gaming, and today I'm bringing you a review on Omega Quintet, and this comes from CompileHeart and Idea Factory, and they're finally moving away this year from Hyperdimension, Neptunia, Noir, the whole Hyperdimension series altogether, and have created a brand new IP based on Japanese pop idol culture, and it has a lot of gameplay elements in this game too. And what makes the PlayStation 4's library even more vibrant is we just got Bloodborne, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, and now you have this game on top of that, and it's bringing the Japanese role-playing games to the PlayStation 4's already extensive library of RPGs. In Omega Quintet, the world's being overpopulated by Blair, which are these evil, dark forces in the game. Humanity's fate rests in the hands of idols, which are known as verse maidens in this game. At the beginning of the game, you are introduced to Momoka, who is a 30-year-old pop star, which you could kind of compare her to Britney Spears. She's towards the end of her career, and her powers are starting to dwindle, and she cannot defeat the Blair like she used to be able to. So now, her manager Ayumi and her must find a replacement for this situation. Atoha and Tot, yes, that's right, Tot, almost like Teat, are now introduced into the story, and Atoha defeats a Blair. And then this is when Ayumi sees that she beats that enemy, and she picks up Atoha as a verse maiden and makes Tot her manager. This is where the story begins, and then it just jumps off the pages as you add verse maidens, rivals, and huge monsters. The game is similar to the Hyper Dimension series because that game was based on a huge parody on video games. This one is similar in that it is a giant parody on the J-pop universe. It is also similar that the fans are what drives your career. Just like in Hyper Dimension, it was all about the shares and who had the most. The game also features some sexual innuendos, which I found quite funny because Tot seemed to not understand what was going on when Momoka's manager was saying certain things that's like, you're a guy, these are all girls, isn't it a little weird that you're staying in the same house together? And then also saying that you have no interest in Ataha. And he doesn't play off that way, but if I was him, you're a guy amongst all these girls, and eventually some of them seem like they fall in love with you, so you got a pretty maid right there. And the sexual innuendos do remind me of Time and Eternity, which this voice actor for Tot, I believe he is the voice of the male lead in that game, the dragon. Most of the time the dialogue is humorous and funny, but there's other times where it's very annoying where girls like "ee" and stuff like that, and it'll continuously say like, I can't do a girly voice, but they'll continuously annoy the crap out of you because they'll keep doing it, and then if you have headphones on, it's like you want to throw them against the wall. And that's the only problem I have with some of the dialogue. I found most of the voices fine. I didn't think any of the voice actresses did a bad job. It's just some of the script writing was a little over the top on some parts. Also, when you get so far into the game, there's going to be an announcer voice along with your girls' voices, and then they all collide together in one loud talking, and you can't understand what anyone's saying anymore.
Can I take them down one at a time, or go for both with a flaming skin? It's my turn!
What about now? There! What about now? How's this?
Oh, here! Now all that's left is to finish them off! I'll shoot! I'll shoot! You protected the verse maiden! The model manager! To change.
And they could just avoid this by getting rid of the announcer, but only put the announcer in during like the cutaway cutscene dialogues. That was fine. But when you have it into the game battles, it just becomes an overload of talking, and it just gets frustrating to listen to. And some of the characters are going to get on your nerves, like Momoka. Most of the time, Momoka is mean, and she's a snob to everyone else, and she's stuck up, she's in her own little world, that she's the best and everything. Some of the characters are going to do that to you, and you're just going to get annoyed by them. But overall, most of the characters are very likable and funny and fantastic. The graphics in this game never seem to push the PlayStation 4's power to the max. That's one of the big issues. Like when you're looking at an environment, you look down on the ground. I never noticed it until I actually looked on the ground. It seems like the ground is moving in a weird way too, and it just makes you feel a little sick. So if you have seasickness or motion sickness when you see certain things moving, I would suggest not looking down at the ground because it makes you woozy. Frame rate is another big time issue in this game. In past hyperdimension games, sometimes there are frame rate issues, but this one has a lot of bad frame rate issues in it, and that might make a lot of players not want to play the game. So I think if they would have spent some more time fiddling with the graphics and everything graphical related, they would have a much better game. But then you gotta take in consideration they're working on a low budget. They're not working with millions of dollars here. They don't have that much money because they're not going to be selling that many games because it's a niche audience. However, some of the graphics look really great, like the characters. They put a lot of time into designing these characters, and you can also equip them with different hairstyles, costumes, underwear, hair color, and you can equip them with so much more than that. The game has a lot of customization that you can change on your character. Omega Quintet can be played in English or Japanese, and it also features many voice actors that JRPG fans will find familiar. There are also 3 different levels of difficulty: normal, immediate, and advanced. As long as you're playing on normal, you probably won't die in the game. If you play on immediate or advanced, it gets a lot harder. This provides a great way to bring new fans of JRPGs into a franchise and keep fans that want a challenge. Another thing I really liked was the leveling up tree. It provides an easy way to choose what abilities you want to unlock, and it reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy X, but like a simpler way of that Final Fantasy X sphere system. It's just, instead it's like one big circle instead of a bunch of circles. It's a simple, easy way to level up. There are lots of weapons and special abilities that you can swap out for better or more preferred ones. Also, while playing, there are a live concert and harmonics modes, and these will unlock as you progress through the story. These will provide stronger attacks, which are very useful against bosses and really tough Blair. And you're probably wondering, how does Tot fit into this gameplay? Well, while battling, you can use Tot to either defend or follow-up attack. So during some parts of the battle, when a Blair attacks one of the girls, it'll have an option to protect a group of them or just one girl, and you do this by hitting square or X. And in other parts of the battle, depending on who you have him linked with, he can do a follow-up attack, and then you can create an awesome combo back and forth between that character and Tot. A way that the game rewards players is by continuously launching attacks on enemies. You can get an extra turn if you defeat that enemy. So say you kill an enemy after you're attacking with you and Tot, going back and forth, and then the enemy dies. So now you'll get your turn back because it is a turn-based RPG. You'll get your turn back though for beating that enemy. And then you can continuously keep doing that until you kill all the enemies. So the game rewards you for playing the game really good. Another reward technique that Omega Quintet gives players is that when you create double the damage that the enemy had and kill them, if you create enough that the little bar goes back up and it fully extends his original health, you'll gain extra experience points, and this will help you level up faster. There is one really bad attribute that the game has, and that is lack of direction. Sometimes when you complete the side missions and the main missions and you already went to where you're supposed to go to complete them, sometimes the game won't tell you where to go next, so you're kind of in a guessing situation, and that's gonna make a lot of players not want to continue to play. That is a really bad thing, and maybe just have it so that you can tell the player where to go. Maybe instead of having the touchpad as just showing you how to play the game, have that as like a little memo of where you need to go next. Like say, you need to go to the arid area in order to get this event going because you already did everything else. Like say something instead of just not having anything at all. And one last gameplay element of the game is the area where you can create music videos. This is a really fun feature if you know how to use it. They don't really go into great detail on how to use it, but it is a great element if you like that type of gameplay. You can create music videos where you can change up where everyone's standing, camera locations, the zoomage on the characters, dance moves, and a lot more. There's so much you can change in this, and they don't go into great detail on what you have to do. You're kind of just thrown into it. Overall, Omega Quintet has a great number of battle techniques, great looking characters, and a fun, enjoyable story. There are a lot of graphical issues in the game, but the developers made up for it with its character designs and loads of beautiful dialogue scenes. Omega Quintet also has a lack of direction that plagues it throughout different areas of the game. If you're a fan of Hyperdimension series, you're going to love this game. And finally, Omega Quintet is a great start to the JRPG genre, establishing itself on the PlayStation 4 platform, and it has a great battling system. The developers just need to fix some of the graphical issues, and it'd be almost a perfect game. I give this game an 8 out of 10. If you'd like to see the full written review, go to throwingdigitalsheep.com. If you'd like to buy the game and help support my channel, use the Amazon link below, and don't forget the thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. See you guys.